Hip opening yoga is one of the most often requested classes that I get as a yoga teacher. So if you are looking for a full Hatha yoga class combined with the best of self-myofascial release, then be sure to put this yoga video on your regular rotation, especially if you have tight hip flexors and low back pain. Hi, I'm Melissa from Yoga with Melissa. Today we are back in beautiful Beacon Hill Park in Victoria, BC because the camas is still blooming and there are deer here in the background that we are enjoying right now. For today's class, I think you're just going to need your yoga mat, and the only prop that we're going to use today, I just did a whole video this week on which foam roller I use, and I talked about how I use the soft foam roller and why. And I tried to go to using the lacrosse ball for myofascial release, and it just honestly it just was way too harsh on my hips. So for our prop today, you're going to use a pair of socks rolled up. So our fascia is exquisitely sensitive, and in my opinion, it's just not necessary to use harsh props. You're just going to way overstimulate your nervous system and probably cause a neural backlash, and you're just going to set yourself back. So the socks are more than enough is my point. Okay, let's get started. Go ahead and rest back on your back. If you have a bolster, you can place it underneath your knees. Otherwise, you can have your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor, especially if you have back issues. Your feet wide, your knees can drop towards each other. Place your hands on your low belly. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it fall out of your mouth. And just allow yourself to arrive here now. Let the tension of the day fall out of your body. And allow your breath to drop into your lower belly. Paying attention to the sensations in your body. Today we're going to be focusing on your hip flexors, but your body is a system as a whole. We do tend to isolate parts of our bodies because that's, how we like to do it when we do a yoga class. But even though we'll be focusing on one part of our body, our whole body gets affected. You really can't divide your body up into parts. Just notice how your legs are resting into the ground here too. Your feet, your legs, your low back. So your fascia is not just a kind of connective tissue that acts as a scaffolding to hold your body together. It's an exquisitely sensitive system that responds to your every movement, emotion, and thought that you have throughout the day and throughout your entire life, in fact. Fascia is one of the largest and richest sensory organs of your human body. The active sensory fibers of your fascial system are called mechanoreceptors. In other words, the connective tissue does far more than connect us together. It's an intelligent lining that can feel itself and knows where it is in space. So these mechanoreceptors are distributed throughout your tissues like antennae, which are sensitive to and monitor your movement. So in essence, they say, hey, where am I in relation to everything else? Mechanoreceptors are sensors of different types of sensitivity within the fascial network. They're situated in your tissues, mostly in the joints, along the fascia, at the bones, and between the layers of fascia. And these mechanoreceptors can detect the most subtle shifts in motion and changes in terrain. They sense, they communicate, and they respond to variations in temperature, tension, and torsion, which is a fancy word for twisting. Now, there are different kinds of mechanoreceptors in the layers and joints throughout the tissues, with a variety of sensitivities to a variety of subtle movements or forces on or through the structure. So the kind of self-myofascial release that we're going to do in this Hatha yoga class for hip flexors, we're going to be affecting the pacinian mechanoreceptors. These are responsive to pressure and movement of local proprioceptive attention. Okay, so we're going to begin with bridge pose. The most effective way to do the self-myofascial release is to do the movement, sense and feel the movement, apply the self-myofascial release. So we're going to do the ones that affect the pacinian mechanoreceptors today, and then we're going to do the movement again, and that is going to yield the greatest results in the range of motion, ease of movement. The opening in the front of the hip flexors is which we're focusing on today. So place the block, if you have one, in between your knees, and you're just going to inhale. Exhale, press into your feet and lift your hips, and you're just feeling for the openness at the front of your hips here. Also sense and feel into your legs here. And then you're going to lower down. And then while we're lying here, maybe Tim can get a close-up of this, I'm going to show you where we're going to be placing the sock when we lie on our bellies. So it's going to be about 3 finger widths. You're going to find your hip bones, and we're going to do this on both sides or one side, depending on which side we're going to release. But for bridge pose, we're going to do both sides. It's going to be about 3 finger widths below your hip bone and slightly in from that. So it's going to be about here is where you're going to be placing it. And then I'll show you what we're going to do. But that's about where it's going to be. Okay. But when I lie on it, it's not going to be that easy for you to see. Okay. So we're going to roll over onto our stomachs now. And then you're just going to place the sock. So about 3 finger widths down, and then a little bit in towards your navel there. And then you'll feel sensation. So as I said, those mechanoreceptors are exquisitely sensitive. So they're sensing that something different is happening here. So you're just going to breathe and rest on that for now. And then we're going to apply a little bit of torsion to it. And the way that we're going to do that is you're just going to bend your right knee, and you're just going to, you can just windshield wiper them side to side. Remember, less is more. It doesn't need a lot. We're just telling this sensory rich area that something's happening here. And then lower down, and what we'll do is we'll roll over onto your back so you can actually feel the difference between your right and left leg when you come back into bridge pose here. So you may even, I can actually feel a difference in my whole right side of my body now compared to the left side of my body. It feels actually smaller, and there's more ease in it. It's more relaxed. And then I'm going to inhale here. Exhale, press into my feet, lift my hips off the ground. Yeah, there's just more ease on the right side of my body now. More fluidity of movement. Less effort required on the right side. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the other side. So you're just going to take that sock again, 3 finger widths below, a little bit more in towards the midline. You want the sock to be kind of in the shape of a circle, like a ball. Okay? And start by just taking a few breaths, and you're just going to relax into it. Soften. And then we'll stimulate those mechanoreceptors, those pacinian mechanoreceptors, by applying some torsion. So bend your left knee and go side to side. Yeah, if you can hear that noise, it's the peacocks mating. Well, they're not mating, they're trying to get a mate. Trying to impress the lady girls. You can also circle your knee here. I find that easier to do. Also very good for your knee joints. Okay, so you're going to come back over onto your back. And just check in and feel the difference on both sides. So I'm feeling this. Remember, fascia is an entire system. It's like a... I got the sock metaphor in my head, but if it was a sock, it would be a sock that covers your whole body in one piece. It's not ever broken. So I can feel that all the way up into my shoulders, even the back of my neck and my head. Everything's relaxing now. And let's check this out again. Inhale. Exhale and press up into bridge. Just more fluidity and ease of movement. A little bit more opening in the front of my hips. Easier to breathe. But notice what the difference is for you, because yesterday when I was trying out all these, or maybe the day before when I was trying out all these movements, so today the experience is that there's more ease. But the other day when I was testing out this whole class, the experience was that my legs felt stronger. So your experience doesn't necessarily need to be the same as mine. I'm relaying my experience to you each time, but yours may be different too, before and after. Okay, the next movement we're going to do is locus legs. So you're going to lie on your stomach, and you're going to inhale here. And exhale, lengthen long through your right leg, and just feel how long that's coming, how much that's lengthening off the ground, your sense of how much it's lifting off the ground. And then lower down, inhale. Exhale, lengthen long through your left leg, and just get a sense and feel how much it's lifting off the ground. Okay, and remember that the effects of this is temporary, and we're going to do it again and create these new neural pathways. So I'm going to put that sock about 3 finger widths below my hip bone and in towards the midline in a ball shape, and I'm just going to rest over it again. Take a few breaths, soften into it. Say, hey, mechanoreceptors, something's happening here. And then I'm going to apply some torsion as well. So that's that twisting. So bend your right knee. You can either windshield wiper them, or you can circle your knee. Circle the other way. Okay. And then, are you ready? Inhale, exhale, lengthen long. Are you amazed? This one really impresses me. Feel the difference? To me, it feels like my leg is lifting about twice as high. Okay. And feel the other one that you didn't do yet. And even this side lifts higher for some reason. I don't know. I have no idea why that happens, but it does. Isn't that crazy? Okay. What the heck? This is like magic, right? The magic sock. I would be terrible at selling props, because there you go, just take a sock. Don't spend all that money on the branded props. Okay, let's just take that sock again that everybody has in their drawer, hopefully. And 3 finger widths below your hip bone, a little bit towards the midline. Go over under your left one again. Breathe. Okay, and then let's do the torsion. Bend your left knee, circle or windshield wiper, or whatever is feeling better in your body. Okay, then take that out. Check out the left side now. Inhale here. Exhale, lengthen, long lift. And right side again. That one just keeps getting better. Good job. And let's come up and back into child's pose. If child's pose doesn't work for you, knees to chest. Stretch out that low back. Okay, let's come back down onto your stomachs. And we're going to do a little bit of bow pose, half bow pose. So you're going to bend your right knee, reach around and hold on to the inside of your right foot. If you can't reach, you can use a strap here. Inhale. Exhale. Pull your right heel away from your buttocks to lift your chest up off the ground. And just sense and feel into how that feels at the front of your hip, the front of your leg. Okay, we're going to lower down. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Sense and feel into the other side. So reach around. If you can hold on to the inside of your left foot, do that. This is my left arm is still not able to do that. So, but you do it if you can, because it gives a nice opening through the shoulder if you can. Inhale. Exhale. Pull your heel away from your buttocks to lift your chest up off the ground. And then slowly lower down. And let's do some myofascial magic. Just want these more in a little ball shape and see what happens. So take your little sock ball, place it in that spot in the hip, 3 finger widths below your hip bone. Move it a little bit towards the midline and just rest over it. Take some nice relaxing breaths and allow your body to soften over the sock. Relax your shoulders. And then we'll apply some torsion. That's just the fancy word for twisting. You're going to bend your right knee and move your heel in towards your leg and out, in and out. Okay. And we'll lower that down. We'll just check out bow pose on this side again. See, sense and feel the difference. So bend your right leg. Reach around, hold on to the inside of your right foot. Inhale here. Exhale, gently pull your right heel away from your buttocks and just notice if there's a difference. So for me, that was a significant difference in the range of motion there. Feels much more open all the way through my chest. It feels like my heel moved away from my buttocks quite a bit more. Okay, we're gonna come down and we're going to do this on the other side, even you out. So let's go ahead. You're going to put that sock ball that you made 3 finger widths below your hip bone and a little bit towards the midline, and then you just soften right over it. Breathe and relax into it. Okay, and then the torsion, so bend your left knee and just circle your, oh, we did the windshield wiper this time, so heel in and out, slowly, gently. Okay, and then lower down. Take that sock ball out. And if you can, hold on to the inside of your foot, do that. You're going to inhale here. Exhale, pull the heel away and just feel if there's a difference here on this side too. Magic. Okay, and slowly lower down. And for the counter pose on this side, we're just going to do knees to chest pose. So come back onto your back and hug your knees into your chest here. Give those hips and that low back a nice break. Okay, so if this is working for you so far, just press pause on the video, give it a thumbs up, and put "I'm a believer" in the comments. Because I'm just like, wow, this is really working well. Okay. Next one. Gonna do a low lunge. So you're gonna walk your left foot forward first and lean into that lunge. And I want you to really square off those hips. So front to back. So I want the hip bones to be level, front to back, and top to bottom. So that might influence how far forward you're coming to. So not twisting them or torquing them. Okay, and then we're going to switch sides. So you'll walk your right foot through. And let's just set up those hips again. So hip bones top to bottom, so make sure they're level, and front to back before you lean forward. And just sensing and feeling your experience here before we do the self-myofascial release. Those hips are feeling pretty juicy already. It's hard to believe there might be a difference after this, but we'll see. Okay, let's give those mechanoreceptors a little bit of stimulation and see what happens. Come back down onto your belly. Place the sock 3 finger widths below your hip bone and a little bit towards the midline. And just rest over it and breathe. And then bend your right knee for the torsion, heel in and out. Slowly lower down. Let's go ahead and do the other side while we're here. Three finger widths below, a little bit towards the midline. Breathe and soften over your sock ball. Apply some torsion. Bend your left knee, heel in and out. And then lower down. And then let's go ahead and check out those lunges again and see what happens. So we'll start by walking our left foot through, just sensing and feeling into the fronts of the hips already. Walk your left foot through, and even notice if balance is different here. Level off your hips first to the ground, front to back, lean in. Wow. I really didn't think it was going to open up that much more. Okay, and then we'll go to the other side. Right leg comes forward, so level off the hips to the ground, hip bones level to the ground and to the front of the mat, and then lean forward. That's a significant change for me. Okay, and then you're going to step back and you're going to come into a downward facing dog. Reach your weight back towards your heels. And then you're going to come forward to a plank pose. Come back to downward facing dog. Okay, from here, step your left foot forward, and I want you to experience high lunge, so that your back knee is off the ground now, and just sense and feel into this pose. Feel the experience. And then step your left foot back, come into plank first. And then come back to downward facing dog. And then you're going to step your right foot forward. And sense and feel into this side. And then come back to plank pose. Back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to come back down onto our bellies, and we're going to do the self-myofascial release here on our hips, and sense and feel the difference in the high lunge pose. So take your sock ball, put it 3 finger widths below your hip bones and just in towards the midline. And just breathe and soften. And then bend your right knee. Circle the knee. And circle the other way. And slowly release. I'm going to place the sock underneath your other hip. So 3 finger widths below your hip bone, inside. Just soften over the sock ball. And then bend your left knee, circle. And circle the other way. And then you're going to release the sock, and we'll come back to plank. And even just feel in plank and notice how that might feel different. Downward facing dog. Check in with your breathing. Look at the space between your hands. Walk your left foot in. Feel the difference here in the high lunge. Step back to plank. Come back to downward facing dog. One thing I'm noticing in downward facing dog is that my heels are closer to the ground. So as I mentioned, fascial systems are a whole body system, so it's all connected. So it's not just that you're affecting the fronts of your hips. Walk your right foot through. Feel the difference on this side. And then step. That's the cruise ship. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. And then look up at your hands, walk your feet in. And we're slowly going to come up to standing. Okay, we're going to do our standing postures without doing the myofascial release in between every time, because if we do, I feel like we're going to be here all day. So if you want to, you could pause the video in between and do it. I also think probably at a certain point, you're probably overstimulating the mechanoreceptors in the hip flexors. So I think it's okay to just go into some yoga poses now. So let's take a step back with it'll be your left foot. Stay on your toes here. Point forward, inhale, reach up. And we're really just feeling so nice and juicy and open here now anyway. And then fold forward over that bent left leg. Coming into plank again. Back into down dog. Walk both your feet in. Roll up to standing. This time step your right foot back. Stay high on your toes. Face forward. Reach up. Lift your chest. Fold forward over your bent leg. Palms on the ground, fingers spread wide. Plank pose, option to drop your knees. Downward facing dog. Walk both your feet in. Roll up to standing. Then here we're going to do dancer pose. So you're going to stand on your right foot, bend your left leg. Hold on to the inside foot if you can. Inhale here. Exhale, pull your heel away from your buttocks and reach your right arm up. And then you're going to slowly release down and bend your knees, hinge at your hips, lift and spread your sit bones at the back, fold forward. If you have low back issues, really bend your knees here. Okay, slowly roll up to standing. Okay, you're going to stand on your left leg. Bend your right leg. If you can, hold on to the inside of your foot. Extend your left arm. Pull your heel away from your buttocks. Slowly release. Bend your knees slightly, hinge at your hips, lift and spread your buttocks at the back, your sit bones, fold forward. Going to, from here, this forward folded position, you're going to take a step back with your right foot. Place your right foot on the ground, left knee is bent. You're going to inhale, come up to standing. And then fold over your bent leg. Walk your back foot in. Come into that forward fold again. Take a step foot, take your right foot back this time with your left knee bent. Sink down into that left foot, come upright. And then fold forward over your bent leg again. Walk your back foot in, fold forward. Okay, and then we're going to come down and we're going to do a twist here. So you're going to lie on your back, and we're going to do one more of these before we close out. So let's do the twist first so you can feel it, and then we'll do the self-myofascial release. We'll do the twist again. So lie on your back. Okay, your arms are in a soft T. You're going to bend your right leg, press into your right foot, tuck your left hips under, cross your right leg over. You can either leave it bent or extend it out. Bend your left leg and hold on to your left foot. And just feel into that, notice how it feels. Okay, and then you can release all that. Take your sock, roll onto your stomach, place it underneath your left hip. 3 finger widths below the hip bone and towards the midline. And you're just going to breathe. Soften. And then bend and twist. And then let's come back onto your back again and just feel into the twist again. So arms in a soft T, right knee is bent, press into your hips, tuck the left one under, extend your right leg out, bend your left leg, hold on to your left foot. And you're just feeling, noticing, is it easier through your left leg? For me, the twist was actually easier too, so that's interesting. My right shoulder laid down more easily. Okay, and then we're going to come back onto your back. Untwist, lie on your back. Just let your spine unravel for a moment here. And then we're going to come into the twist on the other side. Left knee is bent, arms out into a soft T. Press into your left foot, tuck your right hip under, and extend your left leg out. Bend your right knee. Hold on to your right foot. Just check in and sense and feel. How does the twist feel? How does the front of your right leg feel? What's the ease in this posture and generally speaking? And then you're going to come back onto your stomach and take your sock ball, put it underneath your right hip bone, 3 finger widths below, towards the midline. And just soften over the sock. Bend your right knee, windshield wiper it, applying some torsion, letting the mechanoreceptors, the pacinian mechanoreceptors, know that something is happening here. And then release that down. We'll come back onto your back. Left knee's bent, arms out in a soft T. Press into your left foot, tuck your right hips under, extend the left leg, bend your right knee, hold on to your right foot, and just notice how that feels. A lot more ease for me in my right leg this time. And then we'll release this posture from your body, and you can go ahead and lie back on your back for Savasana. If you have a bolster, you can place it underneath your knees. If you have low back issues, keep your knees bent, feet wide, knees dropping towards each other. So allow your body to receive your practice. This is a very important time in our practice, especially because we stimulated your sensory fascial system so much. So we just want to give your body some time to integrate this. I'm going to sit up and read you a poem here. This poem is called "The Landscape Wants to Be Understood Slowly." The Landscape Wants to Be Understood Slowly by J.T. Barbaries. And I chose it because, to me, this is the landscape of the hips. They want to be understood slowly. And the poem, to me, speaks to how much can be stored in the hips, too. So that's why I chose it. The ripples processing from here then gone, beyond the pool into distant gorge, in damp sand are not mine, but oh how they remind me, each widening flight from origins, that so much is kept from me. How the stopped sap sticks, where the bark bled over the stumps, so that once frost smites the ground, a rich rice of maggots will freeze to the peach that falling froze to the trash can lid. Bless this world's cold economies, its white violence, July bonanzas end in rot hollowed stump, that such bogus integrity throve in the green heart of void. I mean, if that's not your hips, then I don't know what is. I'll read it one more time. The ripples processing from here then gone, beyond the pool into distant gorge and damp sand are not mine, but oh how they remind me, each in the widening flight from origins that so much is kept from me. How the stopped sap sticks, where the bark bled over the stumps, so that once frost smites the ground, a rich rice of maggots will freeze to the peach that falling froze to the trash can lid. Bless this world's cold economies, its white violence, July bonanzas end in a rot hollowed stump, that such bogus integrity throve in the green heart of void. Okay, so gradually allow your breath to deepen. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And bend your knees. Roll to your side. Slowly make your way up to seated, and we'll close out this practice, gathering the fruits of our practice first in towards ourselves and then offering them out into the world. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. So give yourself a thumbs up for practicing with your pacinian mechanoreceptors today, and put my mechanoreceptors are excited in the comments if you didn't already put something in the comments earlier today, because I remember I said to put something earlier. Go ahead and share this with other people that you think might be interested. I think this is really leading edge stuff, and also in a way that's accessible for a lot of people. A lot of times this stuff gets presented in a way that you have to have really expensive props or things that you don't have around the house. Everybody has a pair of socks. Thank you so much to Anise and Gabriella for your donations. I had a really great comment in the membership community this morning. Tina Griffith, thank you very much for that. She said, Melissa, I'm so happy that I'm a member because it means that you aren't having to go out there and work for somebody else, and you aren't having to succumb to the needs of some big corporation or some big brand. And it makes me so happy that I support you through this membership, because it means that you can say whatever you want and teach in whatever way that you want. And so that's why we appreciate your donations. And it does also mean that and we appreciate also everybody that's a member, because it does allow us to teach. And she said it means that you're authentic, and it does mean that we do what we want, right? We teach the way we want. It means that I can teach with a sock instead of a branded ball, right? Yeah. Okay, if you'd like a PDF of my favorite props and how to get them in a 10-week and how to use them in a 10-week video series that we filmed specifically for you to get them in email. They're not on YouTube, they're nowhere else. Then go to melissawestcott.com/props, and we'd love to have you join us in Myofascial May in our membership community. I told you about Patty's amazing testimonial at the beginning, and we'd love to have you for that as well. Sending you much love from beautiful British Columbia. May your joy be as deep as our ocean. May you be as grounded as the old growth trees in our forests, and may you be as strong as our mountains. Om Shanti. Namaste.